Wow. I said I wanted to see this, but I didn't expect chapter 469. And just a quick note, this volume is really thick, so chances are they charged more. I'm willing to bet. Yeah, 12.99. So they did charge more because usually these volumes are 9.99. So they charge more for this. That's pretty nice. I didn't expect to get this many chapters in this volume. But what was really interesting about this chapter is we have Luffy Zombie getting ready to fight the Straw Hats in the very last panel is telling to me. We have Zoro say, this should be fun. Okay, Zoro, the second in command, one of the first people to join Luffy's crew, is about to lead the attack on Luffy's zombie. And one of the things that I was looking at is, I believe in Water 7, Eames Lobby, somewhere around there. Pretty sure it was Water 7, but I said that Zoro, it felt like Oda might be planting seeds of resentment towards Zoro and Luffy, and now you got these two coming to blows. So maybe this is the situation where Oda is just getting it out the way now. Zoro can let any frustration he has towards Luffy as far as his, leadership being a little off and on at times. There are times where Zoro had to take the lead, and so maybe this is Oda allowing the Straw Hats to let out any passive-aggressive tension they've had with Luffy, just take it all out on this Oars, this special zombie that was created from Luffy's shadow and has Luffy's mannerisms and everything. It's basically like fighting Luffy. And I like how one of the things that we see is Luffy's prioritizing. And before, I always felt like Luffy was one of those characters, one of those leaders who just did things, whatever popped up, that's what he went to. He was just thinking about whatever the next adventure is going to be, and it's just more proof that what happened with the Davy Back fight, what happened at Water 7, what happened at Eames Lobby, those events have changed them, they shaped them. Because Luffy before, I didn't feel like Luffy prioritized. I feel like it was just circumstantial. It's like, oh, Nell's here. Well, he's the strongest guy. I just happen to run into him. Let me just whoop his ass. That's how I always felt Luffy just got in those situations. And you could argue maybe this is the case here. But Luffy had the chance where he sees this really big zombie. He knows it's after his crew. But he also sees Moria. And he knows that if he doesn't go after him, his crewmates cannot get their shadows back. And he does two things, which is telling to me. The first thing is Luffy trusting his crewmates to take down his zombie that has his shadow. So that's in itself a sign of growth. Because I don't feel like the Luffy before, I think the Luffy before would have tried to take care of both of them. So he's learned that you can't do everything, and part of leading is trusting in the ones under you. And like I said back during the Davy Back arc, that was one of the things I feel like Oda was teaching Luffy, that you gotta trust in your crewmates, and then if they fall short, you take on all of their burdens. And I like how Luffy makes the decision to go after the big fish, to go after Moria. But you get different moments in this chapter. This was more of a setup chapter than anything else. So I'm guessing there's going to be a few chapters of the Straw Hats taking out Oars. But you basically have each of the Straw Hats in a different section of the castle seeing different parts. Like Sanji sees the foot and he's got Nami, and all of a sudden Absalom grabs Nami, and because he's got the clear fruit and because he touched her, she's invisible, and he's vowing to marry her somewhere else, and he used the drug to make her stay asleep. And you got Sanji watching as Absalom runs off with her, but he's got this huge foot of Luffy, this huge zombie, and everyone has this reaction. You have earlier on in the chapter, just when you're thinking you're going to get this super awesome suplex by Chopper in combination with Nico Robin, which was setting up to be very deadly, because I really thought that Chopper was going to suplex him and just drop Hogback on his head. And I was like, wow, Oda's really going to kill this guy. Plot happens, Hogback does get stepped on in the end, but it wasn't by Chopper. So Chopper still stays innocent in a way. But I like how one of the things that we see is Cindry once again says, I can't move. And she refuses to save Hogback, but she flashes this smile. And the smile that she flashes shows that her soul was still inside of her. And you see like the side-by-side comparison of what she was before and this creation that she is now, where she's got all these scars and stuff. And as I was looking at her, one thing that really struck me is the fact that Oda has gotten better drawing women. Like, there's a clear difference. Like, before, like, the women, they had the same template, but there would be small changes. Like, Nico Robin, her eyes are drawn in a different way. Or Nami's nose is drawn differently than Vivi's. Like, Oda did little small things, but for the most part, their templates were the same. Most of the women had that. But you look at Cindry, there's a clear difference. Really clear difference. Like, I like that. I like that. It isn't just a hair change and a few minor cosmetic stuff. Oda really put some work into this one. So that's pretty... give credit where credit's due. Now, another thing that I thought was pretty telling is Chopper's reaction. When he's having that conversation with Nico Robin and he says... or Robin says, I guess there's just some things that you can't find in a book. There's some things that you can't learn. And they're referring to the fact that Cindry is crying and shedding these tears even though she died 10 years ago and her soul should not be in this body that has been mutilated and really isn't her actual body anymore. And I feel like that was Oda stepping into some deeper stuff, and he's done it on some very subtle things in Skypiea with some very hidden in-your-face stuff, but I'm going to unpack it a little bit. You know, that's one of the things that, like, you see when you get into the medical community and you hear about all these stories of this person's been brain dead for 10 years and they're in excruciating pain. There was this one story where this child had been shaken by her mother. Just grabbed, shaken, and because children are so small and they're developing, shaking them like that out of frustration. Because the kid doesn't want to go to sleep or is wanting to pee or just wants affection, whatever, and because people have their reactions. I'm not defending what the woman did, but what I am saying is, like, when you shake like that, because the brain and everything's developing, it's like putting 2 eggs in a small jar and you shake it back and forth, it's gonna crack. And so what ended up happening with this child is the brain was leaking out blood, and the child ended up coming out of coma, but it happened after the fact. And what I found interesting about that case is every doctor had told the parents that this is not going to end well. This child's going to die. Anytime that we touch this kid to change the diapers, to change her sheets, when we try and lift her up, she goes in a stroke. She's not going to come out of this, and yet the child came out of it. Yet science said that this child was going to die, that the child would not come out of that coma and come well enough for them to do the procedures they needed to do in order for this kid to live. And the only thing that they got right was the fact that the kid was going to have major brain damage. And in this case, science wasn't all the way correct. And that's what you see in this right here. This would be the equivalent of a medical miracle. And I thought that was pretty cool that Oda just slipped that in there. But, you know, like I said, this was a setup chapter, so this won't be as an in-depth of a review as some of my others. Some of you guys probably applaud, like, oh my god, he's got a review under 5 minutes. Awesome. Like, you know what? It is what it is, man. You know, if you've been with me for a while, you know one of my favorite reviewers is King of Lightning, so you know, it's not uncommon for that dude to have like 15-20 minute reviews. It kind of rubs off. But my chapter question to you guys is, what are your thoughts on the whole thing about medical miracles? About how science says that certain things can't happen, and yet the person's will to live brings them through. And do you have some of your own stories related to that? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, guys. Have an awesome day.